Hey Boo, it's Yvonne Michel coming straight from the den every Monday. You're listening to episode 17, Looking for a Job? Okay, it's 2021. I don't know how many times I'm going to keep saying this, but I'm probably keep saying this all January. So happy New Year! As we move into this new year, we haven't done our taxes yet. Some of us are just now getting or waiting on the stimulus check, and we are still either jobless, working less hours than we did before, or not making enough money to even keep the lights on or keep food on the tables, y'all. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, so I thought I would come here today to talk about what you need to have and need to do to apply for, interview for, and finally work for your new job in 2021, y'all. I'm going to be talking about people who are younger than 18 and people who are older than 18, just to make it a little bit more diverse, so that, you can have, you can listen to my podcast and learn from this too. Although I be cussing a lot in all my other podcasts, so I don't even know if anybody under 18 is listening to this, but I'm pretty sure y'all are. So, okay, if you are younger than 18, you will need your parents' approval on certain things. And also you would like to have some kind of volunteer work to at least start off your resume. Maybe you helped at Boys and Girls Club. Do they even make Boys and Girls Club anymore? I think they're closing them actually. Or maybe they call them something different. Or maybe you babysitted, or you could have been even a girl or a Boy Scout. And those are good things to put on your resume if you're younger than 18. Those things look good on a resume. And it just makes it look like you want to work, that you're responsible, that you're reliable. So what you want to do is create a proper email. We can't be putting out here. Here's an old one I had. You can't be putting out here misspuppyd@yahoo.com. No, we're not doing that. Okay. We need to have first name, last name, or first letter, last name. Just make it that it's obvious that this is you. It's not a gamer's email or, just like a younger email. No, it's not. None of that. We want it to be proper and professional. So at least have your name incorporated in your email some way or how. That way they know that it's a real email that they can reach out to you, and that they know that you are actually being professional about this. You want to, on your resume, you want to place your high school information on there, like what high school you're going to, what city it's in, and the GPA that you have currently. That's all you really need to put down. You don't need to put down any telephone numbers or anything like that. Just the name of the high school, the city that the high school's in, and the GPA. After that, if you are in any of these kinds of groups, you can put down sports that you've played or currently playing. You can put down any art, like if you do poetry, if you're in the choir, if you're a dancer, a cheerleader. Like, just put down all that stuff, because it shows that you're a team player and that you have skills in various areas. So that would look really good on your resume if you're 18 or younger. If you know many languages, a lot of bilingual children, a lot of bilingual people. So if you speak multiple languages, that is a plus. They like people who are diverse, who can speak different languages and reach out to all of their customers. So by paying one person, they love that. They don't want to pay multiple people for multiple things. So if you speak multiple languages, definitely put that down. And lastly, what you also want to have on your resume is a recommendation, non-family recommendations. They don't want you to have recommendation from your mom. Of course, mommy's going to say all good things about you. They don't want that. They want it non-biased. Well, not non-biased, but they want non-family, and it could be a teacher, Maybe it could be your favorite teacher that you like. It could be a coach, your sports coach. They would say good things about you being reliable or being a team player or something like that. Those are just two ideas. It can be more than one, just as long as it's non-family. It could also be a family friend. It can be your next door neighbor. Maybe you babysitted for your next door neighbor. And that way they can write down your past employment, but it's like under the table employment. It's not real employment. It's just, what you did for summer or something like that. So now moving on to 18 and older. If you're 18 and older, you will need to have a proper email, just like 18 and younger. Have a proper email. We don't need to have gangsta99 at gmail.com. No, we don't want that. We want to have a generic way of having your first name and your last name incorporated some way, somehow, at Yahoo, at Gmail, at whatever. As long as it's a real email and they can reach you that way. Next, you want to write down some skills that you have. If you have, like, for example, I have 55 words per minute. That's a skill that I have. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to get to 60, y'all. I'm not playing games. So if you have a skill like that, because I think the average is 35 words per minute for just average people who are typing in the computer. So if that's a skill that you have that you're above average, definitely put that down. They're looking for that. If you're going to an office type job, they want to know if you have leadership skills. You could put that down. If you have attention to detail, if you're very attentive, maybe you can just have the willingness to learn new things, that you're very on time, you're flexible. You can put different kinds of skills. And if you want, of course, Google, what kind of skills can I have to put down on a resume, and you can find what connects better to you to put down on your resume. Next, you want to put down your education. Your education is fairly important. You want to put down, like I said, for the 18 and younger, you want to put down the high school, you want to put down the city, and then you want to put down your GPA, the last GPA that you had before you graduated, if you graduated. And if you didn't get your diploma from your high school, then you want to put the GED there, if that makes sense. I think wherever you got your GED from, because I know most people don't get the GED from the high school that they went to. So wherever you got your GED from, make sure you put that information down there, okay? And then if you are currently going to school now, like if you're going to community college or if you're going to a bachelor's, a 4-year college, then you definitely want to put down what your GPA is currently, the city, and the name of the college that you're going to. And then you also want to have prior work experience. If you have prior work experience, you really want to focus on the jobs that you worked at for at least 1 year. They really want to see that you are stable, that you're not continuously either getting fired or quitting. They want to see that you're reliable and that they're making a good decision in hiring you. So if you have prior work experience, at least put a job down that you worked at for 1 full year, or more, of course, because then that shows them that that they're making a great choice in you. Recommendations are super helpful. Like I said, for 18 and younger, you want to have people who are non-family. And in your case, if it's not a teacher or if it's not a coach, then you can have mentors. Maybe it could be a boss from your prior job or a coworker from your prior job is also really good, especially if they're professional enough. You don't want somebody who's like your best friend and, they are bullying around like you were or something like that. You want somebody who would know that if somebody called them, that they will definitely list down good information about you or be able to be ready to type up a really nice recommendation letter about you. That way you can send it off to that job. When you have recommendation letters, you really want to make sure that you are specifying the job. You don't want to just have a generalized one. Just have that person email it to you. That way you can always change. Instead of it being to whom this regards or whatever it's going to say, you could put for blase company. such and such is recommended, blah, blah, blah. Like, just have it just like that. And then you can also Google. Google is a really good place to look up, look at different things. You can Google ways of how to have your recommendation letter written to help, like give a person like a stencil if they need it, if they're asking for it. You also want to put down your phone number on the resume. Just so that they can have a way to reach out to you for a phone number, as well as putting the email. Like I said, have a proper email on the resume. And then you also want to have a way to to introduce yourself, which is called a cover letter. A cover letter is, like I said, an introduction. You just talking about, what you did at your past jobs, how you, grown from the person that where you started and where you are now. And like I said, Google, and you will find different ways to have, to create your cover letter. When it comes to your prior work experience, I also wanted to mention that you want to write down your tasks. You don't want to just say, oh yeah, I worked at Wendy's and I was a cook, and that's it. You want to put down what you did as a cook. You took down orders, you spoke in the front desk, you did cashiering. Not front desk, the front of the front line, I guess. I don't know what you call it. You did cashiering, you spoke to members, you assessed, the burger and the fries. But don't say burger and fries. Change the words out. They don't want to hear about burgers and fries. They want to hear the nitty and gritty. They want to hear the actual task that you did. So you took care of the front line, and you made sure everything was pushed out adequately and seamlessly, and you just made sure that everything was set. You're a great multitasker. Like, say things like that. They don't care about the fries or the burger or the shake. They want to know what you did to get those fries, burger, and shake out the door so promptly, okay? So make sure you list down tasks of what you did, but don't make it too basic. Make it sound professional. I think Grammarly.com, this is not sponsored. I think Grammarly is a really good way to switch out any words to make them sound more professional, but you don't want to keep throwing in just random big ass little words and they be like, what is this person even saying? Like, this is not even English. This is just random big words. For both 18 and older and 18 and younger, what you guys can do is when you apply, make sure that you are qualified for the job. You don't want to be applying for an IT job and you have no skills in that. That is just an automatic, they're not going to hire you. And that you don't want more rejections than you have, interviews, because then that can really push down your confidence, and you don't want to push down your confidence. You want to make it bigger. So you want to apply for jobs that you know that you're qualified for. Look at the title. Read the information that the person, that the company usually puts down, like what you're doing day to day. And what was that? I don't know what that was in my voice. Let me do some water, okay? Okay, so, read the information they have at the bottom, the description of the job, and see what they're doing day to day so that you can know that you are qualified, that you've done these things before, and that if you apply this, that you have a real chance. Sometimes when you're applying for stuff that is overly qualified for you or the jobs that you've done before, they're going to see that you don't have experience, and they're going to gut out all the people that don't have experience first. Then they're going to look at the people who do have experience and how much experience do they have, and do this person sound good? What do they have and what do they don't have? Does this person have a cover letter? Does this person not? Then they'll start looking at people with the cover letters, because it's explaining who they are and putting a personality behind the words. That's exactly what a cover letter is. So you make sure you want to have that so that you can stand out of the rest of the other people, so that you can you can have more of an opportunity to become interviewed. Make sure this is something that you can do. When you're applying for it, you want to answer the questions as truthfully as possible. And what I mean by that is, if they're asking you what days can you work, and you put every day, and then you go to the interview and you're like, yeah, I can't work Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but I can work every other day. It's like you just put in the you put in the application that you can work every day. So you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste their time. So make sure that you're being as truthful as you can, because you don't want to get an interview just to be told, well, we need you for every day. You put every day, but now you're telling us something different. I'm sorry, we can't hire you. You just took your time to drive all the way there, get dressed, all that. You wasted your time. You wasted their time. So don't do that. Just be truthful on the application. Now, when it comes to the questionnaire, some jobs have a questionnaire after you fill out the application portion. Then they say, okay, we want to take you to an assessment portion or a questionnaire, whatever. You want to answer them smartly. You want to answer them like you have intelligence. If the question, and this is, I don't know what I'm going to say. If the questions say, I typically work better by myself instead of in teams. And they're going to be like, do you want to say most likely? Or like, okay, it's going to be like strongly agree, somewhat disagree, disagree, whatever. And then strongly disagree. It's going to say all that, right? So you obviously, if they say in the description that we're looking for a team player, and the questionnaire asks you, I most likely work better alone instead of in teams, you're going to put, I strongly disagree, because they said they want a team player. So we're going to answer these questionnaires smartly and say, well, because they want a team player, because that's what it said in the description of the job, then I'm going to choose strongly disagree, because I don't agree that I work better alone instead of in teams. You want to make sure that the questionnaire is appealing to the job so that you have a more option of getting an interview. Let's be smart about this questionnaire. Okay, so make sure it's a real job. If you're using Indeed, ZipRecruiter, whatever the other ones are, I don't really know. If you're using any of those, sometimes they're spam, sometimes they're bullshit, sometimes they're scams. So what you want to do is, if you see a job, you're like, damn, like they're paying this much, that can't be true, blah, 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 whatever the job is, it's okay. You want to go to the real website. Indeed, sometimes you're only applying through the Indeed website. Sometimes Indeed takes you to the actual website too, especially like in a medical field, they'll take you to the direct website. But not every time you will go to the direct website, you'll just apply through Indeed. So, or same for ZipRecruiter. So I think Glassdoor is one of them. No, I don't know. Okay, anyways, random. So if you are applying through Indeed or ZipRecruiter and you're only applying through there, you want to make sure that it's a real job and go to their website, see if it's real. Usually Indeed or ZipRecruiter will have the city there. It will have the name of the job position, and then it should have the company name under the position. So if you go to Google and then you just type in those three things that they give you, it should definitely pop up the actual website, and then you can go to their career tab and see if that job is still available or still open, or even if it's real. If you happen to do all those things and you don't see a job like that, then it's fake, boo. Or another thing is, if they want to say, is it okay to text you? I want to say, honestly, personally, this is my personal preference. I would say no. I don't like text messages because it can seem very deceiving. It can be very spam-like, and I personally don't like that. I like emails because they're documented, and they have a way of showing you the email name to see if it's, show can text message, but numbers are so coded. But with emails, you can tell if it's a real email or if it's not a real email. And if they email you but the email seems suspicious, I would say automatically no, don't apply for that. But if the email what's an example? SoundCloud. If the SoundCloud email me, they will have the person's name, and then it'll say at SoundCloud whatever email or something like that, right? So, and then they will have a logo. They'll have images, symbols of saying SoundCloud. They'll also have a signature. A signature is having their office number, their office address, their extension, their first and last name. Like, they'll have all their information about it to show how truthful it is. And it also gives you a way to contact them too. But I wouldn't use that if they're emailing it to you unless they tell you to do that. So if it doesn't have any of those things, I would say it's an automatic sus, and I wouldn't continue with that particular job or that particular position when you're applying for that Indeed or on this recruiter. Or if you get an email and they ask you, hey, this position has been filled, but if you email such and such, they'll have another position for you. That is bullshit. That is also a scam. Okay, if they're telling you to email somebody else, then that it's not real. It's just not real. They shouldn't email you to tell you to email somebody else. If they wanted that person to get an email from you, that person should have emailed you. Okay, it's a whole scam. Please do not do that. Also, here's another thing. When you're applying for applications, most jobs do not ask you for your social. If they do ask you for the social, they'll ask you for probably your last 4, but they will not ask you for all 8 numbers of your social. Like, that's very, very rare. The only time you'll give your social out is if you went through the interview process and you are sitting in front of that job and they're asking for your social. You see that it's legit, that you're really going to have the job and that you are going to work there. But with applications, they really don't ask you for your full social, and I honestly would not proceed in filling out that application if it's asking for my full social. Now, the last 4, that's different, but the full, that's too much. Like, I personally do not feel comfortable doing that, but that obviously is to your discretion. I'm just saying, look out, because you're putting down not only your first and last name, your middle name, initial, your address, your telephone number, your email, where you used to work. Like, you're putting down all your information. All you have left is to put down your social, and they can definitely take your identity. Worst case scenario, right? But that's true. That's what people do out here, especially from when those scammers. That's exactly what they do. So just be careful. It's really dangerous to just start talking to random people and anything like that. So you want to be very, very careful with that. And now let's get to the interview process. First, we just talked about what you should have on your resume. Then we talked about what you should do during the application and how you should fill it out. And now we're going to talk about the interview process. Okay, so you got their interview, right? Congratulations. Some jobs do at least 3 interviews before you are officially hired, which I kind of dislike, because then you go to the first one and you're like, okay, am I shooing? I don't know. And then they're like, hey, we want you to speak to such and such. And you're like, yes, I got the second interview. And if they don't say that, then you're like, fuck, they didn't like me. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is a hit or miss. And you know what? For the job that I have now, I had 3 interviews. Did I have 3 or 2? No, I think I had 3 interviews. So the first person I talked to was somebody who lived in different state, and it was over the phone, and I did that, and they were like, okay, we're going to call you back on Monday because I want you to speak to my such and such. And I was like, oh, okay. I spoke to them, and they're like, yeah, we really like you. We're going to actually have a set-over interview with the actual place. When you go there, you're going to speak into such and such at this time, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, great. So I nailed interview 1. I nailed interview 2. Now I just got to do interview 3 face-to-face. And I went there, and I was super nervous. But when I'm nervous, I'm giggly. I'm giggly either way. I'm just goofy as fuck. So when I went there, I was super goofy. They was laughing with me. I love that laughing vibe. And I did that shit. So I got it. Okay, yeah, great. So that's just going to happen. Some jobs have 3 interviews. It all depends on what kind of job it is. And you really you want to be yourself. You want to be yourself, because that's what they're going to see each and every day. This is the time to brag about yourself, not to be conceited, but this is the time to brag about yourself. So this is what you need for an interview. Number 1 on this list, you want to have the best outfit, a suit, a dressy outfit, not overdoing it. We're not coming out there looking like you're going on the red carpet, but you want to look professional. You want to look nice, no matter what job it is, no matter if you're going for McDonald's, no matter if you're going for Ross or wherever. you're going for it could be the IT company of your dreams. You want to be dressy no matter where you're going to, because you're selling yourself as a person, and you don't want to walk into an establishment looking very messy, because you never know who you're going to meet, who you're going to talk to. Meeting different people are different connections, and you just never know. Second, you want to have a folder or a portfolio to hold all the paperwork that you may be getting or you should have. Those paperwork that you should be holding is at least five, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies of your resume and cover letter, okay? You want to have at least 2 pens and 1 pencil, or just 3 pens. You don't really need a pencil, but at least 3 pens. I would say 1 is black, 1 is blue, just to have different colors in hand, depending on, what if they're giving you notes and you need to have them in a different way. Just have them, okay? Just have them. It will come in handy, trust me. You want to bring your driver's license with you, because sometimes if you're walking into like a secure building, they need to see your license or whatever like that. It depends on where you're going. Or maybe they want to have it because they're going to hire you on the spot. You never know. Okay? They're like, shit, like I liked what I saw. I liked what I heard and read, and I'm seeing in front of my face. Let me have your driver's license. We're going to put you in the system right now. We want you. And that's always a blessing. So make sure you have that on you, because if you don't, then it's going to be like, oh, okay, you have to come back with it then. And then you just look like you're not prepared, and you want to be prepared. If you're younger than 18, you definitely want to have your birth certificate with you. If you don't have a ID from your state or anything like that, or if you're not driving yet, you want to have your birth certificate with you, because they can also put that on file. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it's true. If you have passed all the interviews and they're ready to put you in the system, bring your social with you. I would say bring it on the first interview too, because like I said, if they're ready to put you in the system, they're going to want your driver's license, your social. They're ready to hire you and for you to work in the next day or 2. Like, they're ready for you, okay? They want to put you training and ready to go. Next, if you maybe if you have like a work visa or something, I just want to bring this up. If you have like a work visa, you want to bring that with you as well. Bring your passport with you. Make sure you have all the information that you need, so that you just look prepared and ready to take this job and work in the next day or 2. Because if they're thinking like that, then you need to think like that too, honey. Because if you really want this job, you need to show them the integrity that you have behind it, how good you look, how prepared you are, and what you're ready to bring to the table. Okay, if you have or did have a criminal record, you also may want to bring information on that. That's just something that I saw that I was like, I didn't know you needed to do that, but it's possible. So definitely just whatever papers that you have, you possibly need to bring it, because jobs are still hiring no matter of your background. And so, which I think is awesome. I feel like all jobs should hire no matter what your background is. Like, that's bullshit. Anyways, at least 2 of your recommendation letters for that job. Like I said, be specific. You don't want to have just a generalized recommendation letter. You want to have, for such and such company, this is my recommendation letter from such and such. Keep that in that folder or portfolio that you're bringing with you, with those 5 copies. I can't stress enough. 5 copies. Because what if you're sitting at a table, it's you and 3 other people ready to interview you, and they don't have your resume or cover letter on hand? Now they have to go print it out themselves. It makes you look unprofessional, unprepared. And if you are sitting at the table with them, shaking everybody's hand and like, oh shoot, we don't have your resume, let's go print it out. Oh no, I have copies right here. Here you are. Wow. Okay, great. That saved a lot of time. Or what if they're like, oh, I need a pen. Oh, I have a pen right here for you. Here you go. You are being prepared. You're showing them that you got this shit in the bag, okay? Come on now. Come on. You might be walking in there with a duffel bag, but you're going to look good doing it, okay? Okay. Make sure you get there at least 30 minutes early, just to show promptness. Or, what if there's parking issues that you didn't know about until you got there, okay? Like, what if you'll have to pay for parking? Or like you have to park 3 blocks down the road because it's street parking and it's, there's no parking garage or something like that. So make sure that you at least get to that destination 30 minutes early, so that you can be prompt and look prepared and look like you want this job. They're looking for that. They want to see you in the waiting room. They want to see you waiting for them and that you're early. They want to know that Yvonne is there in the waiting room waiting. Oh, her thing doesn't start till 4. That's okay. She's there at 3:30 because she wants you to know that she's ready whenever you're ready. If you're ready before 4, she's ready before 4. If you're ready at 4, she's ready at 4 with you, okay? But just know she was here on time. On time is being early, not at the actual time, okay? Just letting you know. She was there on time, ready for this interview, ready to speak to you, okay? Ready. Just, do you know the words ready? It's ready. Okay, great. You also, I can't. I just had to, I couldn't just keep going. Okay. All right. So the interviewers love questions. They really do. I actually noticed that when I started asking, before I used to be like, no, I don't have any questions. And then the interview would be over. And I noticed that when I actually started asking questions, they were very like amazed, and they were like, wow, okay, these are really good questions. Like, I really love that. So a couple of things, you can always go to Google, of course, but a couple of questions that I asked, and I'm thinking of them at the top of my head because I wrote them down, but it's in my little portfolio and I don't have it with me. So at the top of my head, I believe one, oh my gosh, they really love this. The question is what is your pet peeves in the workplace? And that's something that I asked the interviewer because I want to know what they see that they don't want to see anymore, that they're tired of seeing. Maybe people gathering together. Maybe they don't like when all the coworkers gather together. They want to see people just working, keep it moving, anything like that. And then let them know that you're on that quickness, that you're not going to be a gatherer, that you are about your work, okay? Or another question that I would ask them is, dang, I just had it in my head and then it just left me. I want to say at least have 3 questions that they didn't already answer. So make sure that you are listening to what they're saying. So if they already talked about what the position does, you don't want to ask them, so what exactly does the position do? They just explain it to you. So don't ask them that shit. They're going to know that you're not paying attention and that they don't want you on their team. But if you do, you don't like... You don't want to, you just want to make sure you're listening, okay? That's all. I can't stress it enough. Just listen to the exact what they're saying. If they're talking about the ins and out of what they're going to do, inbound, outbound, whatever they're talking about. Just to make sure that you're listening so that when you do come to your 3 questions, that it is not repeated. You know, you want to make sure that your ears are open for your interview to show that you actually care about the interview and that you want this job. Because they don't know you and you don't know them, so you want to show your best foot. Okay, is that the right? The best foot? Or just show the best part of your ass. How about that? So I couldn't think of my other 2, but I know for sure they really love that pet peeve question. I guess another question is there any room for growth within your company? Or as I was looking over your company, I noticed that there were certain goals or certain tasks to obtain every day or monthly or weekly. So you can also say those kind of things. Yeah. So here's what you should never ask to, just never ask. Don't ask to pay. Unless they say it first, don't ask what the pay is until you have the job, honestly. Until they're like, I want to hire you, so we're paying this much. For real. Do not ask, because they just think they would start thinking that you just want the job for the pay. And they're thinking like, okay, if they just want the job for the pay, they're probably not going to work that hard for it. They want to know that you're going to work hard for what you are getting, that you are a workaholic, that you want to be a team player, that you want to put your best foot forward. Oh, that's the term. I said yes. Okay, but yeah, so just make sure that you just don't ask about it, because it just, in a way, it kind of offends the interviewer, because it's like, okay, they don't really want this job. They just saw that the money was good online or something like that, and that's all they want. They're probably gonna be a waste of time. So just don't put that on the table. Please don't ask them. Please, I'm telling you, it will not be good unless it's like McDonald's or something. Like, that's not your career. So if you ask them, they're probably not going to necessarily care. But if it's something bigger, like an office or the IT job that I was using as an example before, you definitely just don't want to ask that until like down the line. And then you can ask, how much you pay? What is are you going to match my, just save it to the end. save it to the end where they say, we want to hire you. Then you have the opportunity to turn them down when they tell you how much the pay is and everything like that. I'm sorry, but all this sounds amazing, but it's not enough pay for me or something like that. And then that's when you can go maybe into negotiations, or maybe they can match your pay that you had before, something like that. So just make sure that you push that to the side, show that you're serious about the task and what the job really is, and then go to the pay once they're like ready to offer you the job. Hello, bring some mint, bring some deodorant, cologne, cologne or perfume. You want to smell good. You don't want to walk in there stinky. But I know with 2021, we're wearing masks, and a lot of people can't smell your breath, so I guess that's a perk. But some masks are thinner than others, so they can smell if you don't smell good. So make sure you just walk in there with some cologne. Don't overdo it. You don't want to kill people like you're walking Febreze, but you just want to make sure that you either don't smell like anything or at least smell good, because you don't want to smell bad, and it just could give a bad impression, like you don't take baths or something. I don't know. Just don't take it that way, okay? You want to make sure that you're wearing comfortable shoes. Heels are cute, they're nice, clickety clack clack. But if you don't know what environment you're gonna be in, you don't know if there's chairs, you don't know if you're gonna be standing for a while, or maybe they're gonna walk you around, give you a tour of the office or something like that. So you want to make sure that you're wearing comfortable shoes. Flats are nice, dress shoes are nice, just keeping it simple, because you don't know the environment, you don't know what you're going to end up doing. Having a neat hairstyle, of course. You don't want to walk in there with messy hair. If you can tie your hair back, tie it back. Make sure it's just combed and neat. And for my Afro chicas, just make sure it looks good and neat and put in a certain way that it can, Every curl matters, okay? It does. And you just want to make sure that you're smiling. In this case, smile with your eyes, because the mask, smile with your eyes. Have a good tone of voice, and have a little humor. Like I said, I'm very goofy, especially when I'm nervous. I'm super goofy, and I like to laugh in my interviews. I like to make people feel good. I like to make people smile, and that's just something that helps me feel more comfortable when I know that I'm not the only one laughing in the room. So that's just something that I like to do, and I feel like I always have a good tone of voice. I would never want to walk into an interview sounding like I don't give a fuck about the interview, and then it's like, okay, why am I here today? I should have rescheduled this or something, So you definitely want to just, walk in there with a smile and put all the bullshit behind you. Walk into that interview like, this is your best friend, that your long best friend or like your pen pal, something like that. And just walk in there with a little humor and have a good time. Just talking about yourself, talking about the company and everything like that. You want to learn your position. You want to learn about the company. You don't want to walk in there and be surprised that, you thought that they were a simple maintenance company, but now they create and they do maintenance. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Then they're looking in like, wow, she didn't really look over this position. She didn't really, take the time to go over the website that we have. And that will just make it look like you didn't care. So you definitely want to just go over their website if they have one. If it's a medical office, learn the doctors. Oh, okay, I saw that doctor, blah, 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 had this. You must be Dr. Such and such. I really appreciate blah, blah, blah. Like, just have a personal touch to it when it comes to learning the company and learning the position and saying, well, I've done this before and I saw that this is a part of the position that you're offering and I thought that I'd be good. And the questions they'll usually have is, why do you think that you would be a good fit for a company? Well, I saw this in the description and this is exactly what I've done before and blah, blah, blah. So just keeping it plain and simple, and just look over the position, look over what the company does. Another thing is, sorry, I needed some water, y'all. Another thing is having a strong and firm handshake. With the COVID, I'm pretty sure there's no handshakes going on. If there is, just bring some hand sanitizer with you. That's all. Just bring hand sanitizer. But just to have that strong and firm handshake, it shows them that you are, I don't know, what does handshakes even show? It just keeps you more like, I don't know what the word I want to use is, but it just keeps you, I don't know what word I want to use. I can't think of it right now, y'all. Okay, when you shake somebody's hand, it just shows like you mean business, that you're serious and that you want this job. Like, hey, I'm serious about my job. I cannot with myself today, y'all. And then you have all that pins, you have your portfolio, put some empty paper in there and take notes. When you're in an interview, they're going to be telling you information that you possibly did not know about. Even though you looked over the website and the position, they could be telling you things about, like I said, the pay. They could be telling you about what they bring to the table. What, do they offer health benefits, dental, anything like that. And then you can write information down to know that you have that in safe keeps. And when you're taking notes, it kind of makes you look serious. It makes you think like they make them from their point of view. It shows them that you came prepared, and that's the whole important part of an interview, knowing that you're prepared and you're serious and that you are being yourself. That's the whole point of an interview, being yourself. I also came across of what not to say during an interview. Some things I didn't know, and they can actually hurt you. So one question is, that's a great question. They're like, so I guess they're trying to think of an answer on the spot or something like that. So don't start it like that. Try to start it more professional. Another question is, another thing to say, not question, oh Lord. Another thing that you shouldn't say is, what is the title of the role again? Or another one is I've actually never done this type of job before, but ... And you're like, oh shit, get the fuck out of my office because you were wasting my time. Or one that I really didn't know that was hurting you and I actually used. This is one I actually used. This would be, I didn't use in those exact words, what I'm saying. This will be a great stepping stone to my next career move. I don't say in those words. What I actually say is that this would help me better my career and help me to gain more experience within my work experience, life, or something like that. So that's something that I would say, and I didn't even really know what was hurting me. So I definitely won't be using those anymore. Okay. Of course, you don't want to use unprofessional language like cussing, or just say, oh yeah, it's on my resume. Now, here's the thing. Here's my thing about it's on my resume. If you're asking me to write down my work experience and I then brought 5 copies of my resume and my cover letter, I'm not going to fill out that work experience part, because it's on my resume that I brought a copy of. Now, I'm not going to say it's on my resume and I didn't bring a copy. I'm not going to make you go through your computer, print it out, and blah, blah, blah. But if I brought my copy, it's definitely going to be attached to whatever you're having me fill out, okay? Just letting you know. You definitely, don't have to follow me in those footsteps. It's just something that I took the time to print it out, staple, whatever, make it look nice for you. And now you're asking me to fill this out because they're doing that for people who don't bring them. I brought mine, so it would look really nice and I would look prepared. Thank you. Okay. Anyways, you can say, what you shouldn't say is, I don't have any questions. Like I said before, you want to eliminate not saying you don't have any questions and start saying, oh, here's a question. What are your company's pet peeves or your preference on pet peeves, and it will just make them feel like you want to get to know them as a person, as a company, instead of saying, no, I don't have any questions. They already told you all about them. Now they want to know a little bit more about you, about the questions or concerns that you may have, for this job or position. Or also, sometimes you can be overly prepared answering the questions. Don't get too cocky, boo. Nobody likes too many cocky people. Look, the company is looking for a team player. You don't want to walk in the room selfish and conceited, but you do want to be confident and trustworthy in that environment. So like I said, you want to be a person who perceives as prepared. You want to be yourself. You want to just be honest. And like I said, it's all about being yourself. It's all about being yourself. That's the whole point of interviews. So you just want to be confident and trustworthy, not selfish and conceited and think it's all about you. Yes, the topic is about you, but it's also about the position that they're trying to offer you. So, or provide. In this case, I'm not sure what word to use, but the interview is is a two-person thing. It's not just you, it's the company or the manager, whoever is interviewing you. That's the person that's important as well. So you definitely want to ask questions and make them seem that you are interested in them as well. And you should be. Now, say that you got the job and you have the job. You want to keep the job, okay? You don't want to just get the job and then you're like, yeah, I got the job. I don't have to fuck around. I mean, I can fuck around now. Da, da, da. No, you're going to still continuously be friendly, be positive to your coworkers. That's the number one. Those are people that you're working with every day. You don't want to get on their bad side. You do want them to know who you are, but you don't want to get on their bad side, you guys. I mean, not bad side, but you don't want to seem like the negative person in the room. You just want to get along with people that you get along with and connect with. It may not be every single person in your organization or job, but at least, a majority of them. You want to make sure that you're continuously working hard, that you're being early instead of on time. Like I said, being on time is early, y'all. Offer help where you think it's needed. If you feel like anywhere you go, there's no that's not my job title. Everybody's doing a little bit of everything. So being a team player is also a way to offer help. You don't want to complain. Try not to be on your phone. That's something that I have a really hard time doing, but I'm also a great multitasker, and I always make sure that people that I'm working with, coworkers or customers, that they are getting my undivided attention and that they're going to get whatever they need whenever they're asking me for me, if I can provide that for them. So, I mean, I can always talk about this, but they're never going to want me to have it. I can have the best argument, and they're like, no. So it is what it is. You want to make sure that you're staying organized. You don't want your area, wherever you're working at, to just look unorganized, look like you don't have your shit together. You always want to make sure that your shit is together and that it is in place and that you just look like you're ready to work each and every day. Try to stay at each job for at least 2 years or more. That shows longevity on your resume and commitment to your work on your resume. And also, it just makes you feel good knowing that you can keep a job and leave a job whenever you want to, because it's on your terms. It's not just about the money. I mean, you went there for the money, but sometimes you're going there for the career. So it all depends on, what kind of job that you're working at, but you want to make sure that you are at least staying there for 2 years. If you have the ability to do that, you want to stay there for at least 2 years or more, just to show that you do care about your job, or you love what you're doing, or just to look good on your resume. So whatever way it benefits you, just let it be 2 years or more so that it can benefit you more in a better ways. There may be a part 2 if I missed anything, because there's always going to be something new or something different when it comes to looking for a job. But I really, really do hope what am I trying? I've been tongue twisted all day, okay? I really, really do hope this helps you or helped you in any single way, because I know in 2021 we're looking for new jobs. We're looking to start something different, especially with the economy just plummeted and everything is everywhere, and we just need somewhere to start fresh. So hopefully this helped you, just to refresh your memory of what to do and what not to do, or to just give you some new tips and ideas of what to do and what not to do, you guys. Anyways, you know what it is. I love you, Bill. Later, Bill.